The Jordan Show on YouTube.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today.
Into some deliciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that, like, perfect golden brown on food? Like when you get a really good sear on a steak or, you know, that bread crust?
Yeah.
It's like magic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But it's not magic.
It's
Science.
Yeah.
It's something called the Maillard reaction.
A Maillard reaction, that's right.
And we're going to break down exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And how it creates, like, such amazing flavor.
Exactly.
And how to make sure you're getting it right when you're cooking.
Yes. Very, very important.
So we've got this this excerpt here. It's called Pasted Text. Very straightforward name.
So to the point.
But it really gets into like all the nitty gritty
Yeah.
of the Maillard reaction. So
Let's dive in.
let's dive in.
Yeah.
So have you ever I mean, we've all experienced this, right?
Yeah.
When you take a bite of something and it's got that perfect golden brown and it's just like
Oh, yeah.
so much better.
Absolutely. It's like it tastes better because it looks better. But it's all because of the Maillard reaction.
So what is happening at like the, you know, down to the molecule level when we're talking about the Maillard reaction?
Yeah. So basically you have these things called amino acids, which come from proteins.
Okay.
And you have reducing sugars, and at high temperatures, these two things, they start to react with each other.
Okay.
So like between 284 degrees Fahrenheit and 329 degrees Fahrenheit.
So that's like a pretty narrow.
It is a narrow window where all this magic happens.
Okay.
Hundreds of new flavor compounds are formed.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So think about like a steak.
Okay.
When you sear a steak.
Yeah.
One of the things that happens is cysteine, which is an amino acid found in meat, reacts with glucose
Wow.
and forms these compounds called furans and thiophene.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce those.
They're pretty complicated, but basically those are what give us that really meaty roasted aroma.
Okay, so it's those specific compounds that are creating that, like,
that exact aroma.
yeah. So is it like a different set of compounds for every single food?
Yes. So it depends on the specific amino acids and the sugars that are present in the food.
Oh, wow. So there's like a whole
world
Right.
of different flavors that can be created through the Maillard reaction.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So like, what about bread?
Bread. Yeah, so in bread you have asparagine,
Okay, another one I can't pronounce.
which is another amino acid,
Okay.
and that reacts with sugars to form pyrazines.
The iridescene.
Yeah.
Got it.
And those give you that nutty, toasty flavor.
But that's why we love the crust so much.
Exactly.
It's not just crunchy.
It's not just the texture.
It's got like a whole other.
Whole different flavor profile.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, and the really amazing thing about the Maillard reaction is that it combines all these different tastes,
Okay.
like savory, sweet,
Okay.
and even a little bit of bitterness sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
And it creates this really complex flavor profile.
So it's not just like one note.
No, it's a symphony of flavors.
Oh, I like that, a symphony.
And it also releases these aromatic molecules
Oh.
that stimulate your sense of smell,
Yeah.
which also enhances the overall sensory experience.
So it's like a feast for both our taste buds and our noses.
Exactly.
I'm learning so much.
It's a really fascinating reaction.
Okay, so let's talk about the flip side.
Yeah.
We've all been there,
Yeah.
you know, when we're cooking and
Things go a little too far.
things go too far. And instead of that beautiful golden brown,
It's black.
it's burnt.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between like that nice Maillard browning and just straight up burning something?
It's a really fine line.
Okay.
Like we talked about before, the Maillard reaction happens within a certain temperature range.
Right.
Below 347 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And that's when we get all those delicious flavors
Yeah.
and the nice brown color.
Yeah.
But when we go above 392 degrees Fahrenheit,
Oh,
we go into something called pyrolysis.
pyrolysis.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when burning happens.
Oh, no.
So the sugars and the proteins break down even further, and they create all these bitter, acrid compounds.
Okay, so it's like a whole different,
It's a completely different set of reactions.
Okay.
Yeah. And you get that black, flaky char.
like when I tried to grill vegetables that one time
Yeah.
and they just turned completely black.
That was definitely pyrolysis.
That was a pyrolysis situation.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not so delicious.
Not delicious at all.
Yeah.
So knowing all this, what are some like tips and tricks
Yeah.
for making sure that we stay in that Maillard zone and don't go into the dreaded pyrolysis?
So the most important thing is temperature control.
Okay.
Like we've been talking about. You need to make sure that you're keeping the heat consistent
Got it.
within that Maillard range.
Okay.
And don't think that if you crank up the heat,
Yeah.
It'll brown faster.
Right, because then it'll just burn.
Yeah, you'll end up with like a burnt outside and a raw inside.
Nobody wants that.
No, not at all.
And what about once it's like achieved that nice brown color?
Yeah, once you get that burn, you want to make sure that you don't leave it on that high heat for too long.
Okay, so kind of move it to the side or
Yeah, reduce the heat.
reduce the heat.
They'll take it off the heat completely.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that like affects the Maillard reaction? I've heard that like moisture plays a role.
Yes, moisture is very important.
Okay.
So moisture basically acts as a buffer.
Okay.
It slows down the temperature increase.
Interesting.
So think about searing a steak.
Okay.
If you pat it dry first,
Right.
the surface heats up really quickly,
Okay.
and then the Maillard reaction can really take off.
So it's like you need to get that water out of the way.
Exactly, yeah.
So the heat can hit the...
Yeah, the surface directly,
Got it.
and then if there's too much moisture,
Yeah.
it creates steam,
Oh, right.
which lowers the surface temperature.
And then it won't brown.
Exactly.
Okay, so dry surface equals
Better sear.
better sear.
Got it.
Yeah. What about marinades?
Marinades. So marinades often contain sugar,
Yeah.
which can actually speed up the Maillard reaction.
So it browns faster.
Yeah, it browns faster.
But what about burning?
But sugar also burns really easily.
Uh-oh.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Yeah.
If you're using a marinade with sugar,
Yeah.
you want to be really careful with the heat
Got it. And like the time.
and the time, yeah.
Okay, so moderate heat controlled time and dry surface.
That's the key
The keys to success.
to Maillard mastery.
This is great.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm like leveling up my cooking skills
I think so too.
just by like knowing about this one reaction.
It's really powerful knowledge.
So what do we do with this knowledge now? Like we go out into the world and we
Start experimenting.
experiment. Yeah, think about like what are your favorite dishes that have that beautiful Maillard browning?
Mm.
Like what could you make
Yeah.
that would really showcase this reaction?
And how can we like play with different ingredients and temperatures and
And cooking methods to really make the most of it.
yeah, the possibilities are endless.
I love that.
Yeah.
So everybody listening, go forth. Experiment.
Become Maillard masters.
Let that Maillard reaction be your guide to culinary success.
That's right.
Until next time.
Happy cooking.
Happy cooking, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.